For the last 9 months, I've been working slowly on this old, rusty 1995 Ford Ranger that I paid $1,500 for at an impound lot in Idaho. We spent a whole lot of time cleaning out this truck because I'm pretty sure it hadn't been washed or cleaned or anything in 25 years. We then took off the super sweet 90s pinstriping, put a rough country leveling kit on it, refreshed the front brakes and bearings because the wheel almost completely fell off, and then crammed 33-inch tires on the truck. It looked really good, but you could only drive it in a straight line. So I pulled off the bumper, trimmed the fenders, and pulled the fender flares off the back to make it match. Apart from a few other cheap aesthetic bits, this is pretty much the way the truck's been sitting for the last 6 months. And we finally last weekend were able to take it off-road and put it through its first shakedown run. I want to warn you though that this video isn't all that exciting. I didn't push the truck very hard. In fact, I was really afraid to because every time I crawl under this truck, I find new sketchy, rusty bits, and I feel like that the ball joints are this close to snapping, and so I wasn't really interested in getting stranded in the middle of nowhere. So I really babied this thing. The whole point was just to kind of see how it was and to get a baseline of where the truck is and what we want to do next. Before I show you the footage though, I do want to let you know that this is not my first Ford Ranger. I've had 3 of them so far, and I'm not new to off-roading. I bought my first Ranger brand new in 1999 when I was 19 years old. Apart from having manual windows and only 2-wheel drive, this truck had pretty much everything you'd want in a Ford Ranger back in 1999, including the 4-liter V6 and these super cool swing-out rear doors. These were super convenient. I wish I had them on my truck now. The first mod that I did to this truck was a FabTech 3-inch spindle lift and some 31-inch BFGs on 15x8 Eagle 589s. I basically wanted it to have the same size tires as a factory Tacoma. I then picked up some FabTech upper A-arms to complete the full FabTech 5.5-inch lift kit. Around that time, I also made friends with a few of the guys from the old offroadrangers.com and desertrangers.com forums. And every weekend, I would drive from San Diego to Orange County about an hour each way to work on trucks. Here's my truck in front of my buddy Adam's mom's house. Same lift kit in front, but now with a flipped and extended shackle from Camberg in the back with a Deaver Prerunner leaf spring pack. 33-inch BFGs, fiberglass front fenders, pulled bed sides, and a bumper that we built in Adam's driveway. Here's another look of the truck. If you look closely here, you can see the crappy FabTech blue A-arms. For what it was, this truck actually did pretty good with the bolt-on parts, but these 98 Plus XLT Rangers were super famous for having the upper A-arms, the mounts, tear off. And speaking of torn upper A-arm mounts, this is the first time I ever jumped this truck in Barstow. I didn't tear the mounts off completely, but after this they start to crack really bad. So naturally I had the entire coil bucket cut out and we put a coilover on the truck. My truck was the first customer vehicle to get the Camberg long travel system with billet upper arms, box lowers, and hind race steering back in 2003. The wider arms pushed the tires out quite a bit and I needed to get wider front fenders. Being a poor college kid, I only had enough money to build the front of the truck, and for a while I only had a Bilstein 5100 in the back. This was super sketchy, because with the front end being built, you wanted to go fast, but it was severely limited by what we had in the back. Sadly, this is the only action shot I have of this truck. As you can see, the front end stayed planted to the ground, but the back end was bucking like crazy. Right after the shot was taken, I almost endoed the truck, basically looking straight down at the dirt, because the back shocks had faded so bad it was like driving with no shocks at all. After almost dying, I decided to try and build a bed cage and put some 16-inch shocks on the back of the truck. I had no idea what I was doing, but it came out okay. And yes, I did go back and shorten this top shock mount. I would have bent that bolt right away if I left it like that. After building the bed cage, the truck did way better. I got to pre-run a few race courses, but after that life changed a whole bunch for me and I wasn't able to go to the desert anymore. So the truck basically sat in the garage and I would drive it on the weekends. This is the most recent photo I have of the truck before I sold it. The 33s were pretty well worn out, the rear springs were a little saggy, and the fiberglass needed paint. I do want to mention though that this truck did pretty good with the 4-liter and 355 gearing, even while pushing 33-inch tires. Right before selling the truck, I swapped out the entire rear end for another one that I found with a locker and 456 gears. After that, I found a really good deal on some 35-inch Goodyear MTRs. With the lower gearing, even with the 35s, the truck felt way more torquey, but one thing that was kind of annoying was that with the locker, the tires would chirp on slow turning, and after that I drove the truck even less. In fact, I'm not even sure I had a chance to take it out to the desert with that setup before I sold the truck. I also don't have any pictures either. I'm kind of bummed about that. A few years later, I picked up a 2007 Ranger Sport, and I intended to keep it factory until I took it to the desert once. This black truck here, by the way, is the same truck in this picture here. My buddy Adam built and rebuilt this truck several times before finally selling it a few years ago. Of all of our friends, Adam held onto his truck the longest. The rest of us sold our original trucks a long time ago. Now this Ranger had the torsion bar front end, which unlike the coil spring trucks, is a whole lot easier to lift for cheap. All you have to do is crank up the torsion bars, you can get up to 2-3 inches of lift. That made room for some 32-inch BFGs. I don't have a whole lot of pictures of this truck. Coming from my old long travel truck, this truck wasn't super exciting. Most of the pictures I could find only had the truck in the background. So that brings us to the current truck. This truck is considerably different from the other two trucks that I've owned. Both the 99 and the 07 Rangers were two-wheel drive A-arm trucks. From 1983 to 1987, the Rangers came with I-beams or twin traction beam front suspension. The twin traction beam was Ford's attempt to create an independent front suspension that was almost as strong as a solid axle but had better on-road manners. In general, beam trucks are much easier to lift and get travel out of for less money, but they're not as refined or confidence-inspiring as far as steering and handling. Most trophy trucks are A-arm trucks. Here's a look at them both side by side, A-arm on top and beam on the bottom. The most noticeable difference you'll see between a beam truck and an A-arm truck is that on a beam truck there's a whole lot of alignment change as the suspension cycles. On a beam truck at full droop, the camber becomes super positive. As the suspension cycles, the toe and the caster change as well. On an A-arm truck, the alignment change is pretty negligible. One other major thing that's different about this Ranger from my previous Rangers is that this truck has four-wheel drive, which means that even with a super basic suspension setup, it has the potential to go where my other Rangers couldn't go. Back in the day as a kid, I was all about momentum. We went fast everywhere. Fast through sand, fast through hardpack, fast through everything. And we used to always get super annoyed at the old dudes in their four-wheel drives and going really slow, and we were just trying to go around them. And now what's funny is that now that I'm in my 40s, I am that old guy that just wants to go slow and just get there. Now I still like to go fast, but nowadays I kind of look at a hill and I go, I wonder if I can climb that. And so that's what we did on this trip. With all that being said, let's get to the footage. The first thing that you gotta do when you take a truck out to the desert is you gotta do a burnout, right? Albeit a weak and wimpy one, like this. Now this is my first time at this off-road park, and I was super impressed at how many cool whoop sections this place had. But this truck isn't super fun in the whoops, as you can see. These shocks, they're 25 years old, and I'm pretty sure I've got them completely maxed out with the lift kit. There's like no down travel left on the front suspension, and the back end bucks like crazy. One of the things that I want to do is I want to basically duplicate the back half of my old Ranger and put it on this truck, and then build out the front TTB setup. As I mentioned before, I was super paranoid about blowing out a ball joint, so I took these sections super slow. The blue truck would have been super fun through here. After the miserable showing in the whoops, I wanted to see how she did at climbing in low gear. Cameras never really do landscapes justice. These hills seemed much steeper in person. This in-truck footage gives you a little bit better perspective. Even with the factory 355 gearing, the truck climbed pretty good. I intentionally went up these hills slowly to see how the truck would do without momentum. Even on some of the steeper hills, the truck went up without me having to apply any gas or air down the tires. I'm not pressing any gas or anything, just going. Wow, that's impressive. I'm auto driving.
Yeah.
Oh, it's starting to slip. This is steeper than the other hill we went up. Overall, I was pretty impressed. The truck climbed hills no problem, until we tried climbing a hill with a mix of rocks and loose dirt. Four-wheel low turned into one-wheel drive spinning in midair. I'm curious to see how the truck would have done if I actually had aired down. I normally like to run 15 PSI, but we had 35 pounds street pressure on these tires, and the whole point of this trip anyway was to see how the truck did at its worst. We spent the rest of the time putzing around slowly so my wife could practice following the truck with the drone. On this section, I thought we were gonna get stuck going up this hill when we hit some soft sand, but the truck powered through it even with the tire pressure at 35 psi. Going up this hill a second time, I gave it a little more sauce and didn't bog down like last time. As far as this truck goes, I'm going to try to keep it as low budget as possible. I keep finding things on this truck that I'm not super stoked on, like rust here, rust there, rust everywhere. And so I'm not sure that I actually want to put any real money or effort into this particular truck. I think what I'll end up doing is we'll just use it as a research vehicle since it's my first time working with a TTB front end. And what I'll do is I'll buy another truck back home in California that doesn't have any rust, and we'll bring it back up here and move the parts from this truck to the new truck. I also want to play around with building stuff with the cheapest tools possible, so I'm going to be doing some more reviews on Harbor Freight tools and stuff like that for those of you guys who are wanting to build trucks on a budget. I also have a ton more footage I haven't edited yet, like plastic dipping your tailgate, spray on bed liner, removing the interior, a whole bunch of other little things. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and the notify bell so you know when I put out new stuff. It also helps me a lot so I know that you're actually enjoying the content. Because if you're not enjoying the content, I want to make content that you'll actually watch. So if you have any suggestions or requests, post them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.